beat, how do you see your band evolving in the next 10 years?
Ooh, that is interesting. I mean, hopefully, hopefully, we'll fucking get a fucking big break and everything will go fucking fantastically. But realistically, we've never really been one of these hype bands or anything. Do you know what I mean? We've just been one of these bands that just plugs away year after year, does the grind, does the hard work. And we've built our fan base over like the past 16 years, just year by year, tour by tour, album by album. So the fans that we've got are like real fans. They're like lifers. So we're not like one of those flash in the pan bands that just go boom, just get dead big. And then it's all like, oh, we're the shiny new toy for this year. And then after that, there's nowhere to go, is there? So I don't know. Realistically, just more of the same. Just keep putting out quality albums, keep making great music, performing, well, delivering sick fucking live performances, and just building our fan base the way that we always have, and just building a loyal fan base.
Yeah,
one that would follow us into the gates of hell, like so. So yeah, that's it really. Just more of the same. I mean, it'd be nice to get like that lucky break, but not all bands get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're realistic about that shit. It's like not all bands get that lucky break. So we're content to just do the hard work. We're the grafters. Do you know what I mean? We're fucking 3 working class lads, all from fucking council estates and shit. And we do the work. Like, do you know what I mean? We're not sitting here just waiting for a lucky break. We're going out and doing the fucking work. So, but loving every second of it. Do you know what I mean? I won't fucking change it for the world. It'd be nice, but we're happy the way that we are. So we're just going to keep building block by block, paving the fucking way, and just crack on. That's how I see it. Like, we're still going to be doing, I mean, unless something fucking terrible happens, like, we're still going to be doing this in 10, 20 years, hopefully.
I don't know. Nuclear warheads could be.
Well, that's what I'm saying, innit? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, fucking, we don't know what's going on this year. Fuck me. Like, are we even going to make it to Christmas?
You're going to have some, like, great lyrical inspiration, though. Literal warfare going on everywhere.
I know. It's fucking mad, though, isn't it? Do you not think that's fucking well scary?
It's a bit, isn't it? I think the thing that gets me is that, like, 99.5% of the whole world doesn't want anything like that to happen.
No.
It's that tiny proportion who can all press the button.
Well, that's it, isn't it? This is the thing. Like obviously, like, weaponry's got to a point now where it's like, it's fucking mutually assured destruction. Do you know what I mean? It's not like wars where it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be a world war. We're sending in all the soldiers and shit. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be all fucking drones and fucking nuclear bombs and shit like that. And once you get to that point, once it escalates to there, you're all fucked. Everyone's fucked. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's scary, man. I think it's fucking terrifying. Like,
yeah, I do wonder where it's gonna like, where does it stop? That's the
well, I mean, like, this is the thing, because it's like, Putin doesn't really strike me as the sort of person to back down. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, well, what do you do? Like, because he's probably not going to back down.
You don't want to call his bluff and be like,
exactly. Don't call his bluff, because he's fucking fuck that. Like, because that. But then it's like, do you just let him get away with the shit that he's doing? It's like, do you stand up against him, knowing that he's not going to back down and it'll escalate, or do you just let him do some shit?
So my moment of honesty is, I'm so, like, out of touch with just politics. Like, I like to think I can evaluate it in a decent way, but, like, I'm not, like, I follow the news, but so I just, whenever people ask me about my opinion on this, I'm just like, I don't read, so I don't know. Like, don't ask me for advice. I think it looks this way, but like,
well, yeah, I'm the same. Like, it's just, but I think everybody's the same. I mean, it's like you can only go off what you're seeing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if that's the way that you perceive it, then that's the way that you perceive it, and you'll either think it's right or wrong based on how you're looking at it. But yeah, man, I'm the same. Like, I don't give a shit about politics and all that shit. Like, I just think, just be fucking nice and just be civil to other human beings. Like it's the thing, in it. Like, you get raised, like, treat people how you want to be treated. That's it. Do you know what I mean? That's my politics. If you're nice to me, like, I'll be nice to you until you're not nice to me, and then I'll tell you to fuck off, and that'll be it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just be nice or fuck off. Like, so yeah, there's my politics. That's it. That's about as far into politics as I can be arsed going.
All right, Putin.
Right, Putin. Well, what's up with you? Were you brought up or dragged up? Just be nice.
Yeah, the thing I find kind of that I thought about sort of a while back is that, you know, everything, obviously every opinion you build over time that you get from, like, through school and then just through media and news and all of that, I kind of, whenever I have like an opinion that I feel like quite certain about, I just think about the fact that, like, if I'd been brought up by a different family, if I'd gone to a different school, if I looked at different news things, I could believe the exact opposite of what I believe right now. So I always, whenever I have like a strongly held belief like that, I just kind of think, well, I could so easily believe the complete opposite if I'd just gone down a different, even if I'd, not even through choice, if I just fallen into a different path in life. So I'm trying not to have strongly held opinions.
Yeah.
Really. And it's difficult because then things like Putin or, you know, name your issue, you know, comes up, and you want to have an opinion, but you're like, I know full well what I think could be completely wrong. Yeah. Even though it feels like I'm right, you know. So I don't really know kind of how you're meant to navigate all of that. So I bet you didn't know you signed up for this.
No, it's fine. Like, this is great. This is great. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Like I said, it's all about perception, isn't it? It just depends on where you're standing. Do you know what I mean? Because, like you said, if you were brought up on the other side of it, you'll believe the other side of it. But it's like one of them things, like, it's like, what's that saying? History is written by the victor, isn't it? So it's like, you can't really, and this is going to sound a bit tinfoil hat now, you can't really trust anything.
No, I think,
like, when it comes to shit like that, because it's like, people, like, I guess, like, governments and shit like that, they've all obviously got their own, like, propaganda and their own agenda and shit like that. So, like, obviously what Putin's government's telling his people is obviously going to be completely different to what our governments are telling us. So what's right? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, from our side, it looks a bit shit, like what Putin's doing. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, again, it's like, it's one of them things. It's what do you believe?
Can you imagine you just get off the plane in Russia and they're just giving you like free, like, here's your house, you can live here, this is wonderful, and it's just like the most amazing place.
Imagine that.
You get to North Korea and they're just like, oh, we love it here.
Here, have loads of mone. I mean, it's obviously not that, is it? But
I think enough people have flown there to know.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Russia. We've played in Russia, and when was that? 2019. I think it was either 2019 or early 2020, and it just seemed like anywhere else.
What are the crowds? Like, are they the same?
They were fucking mental. Like, especially in Moscow, that was one of the craziest shows we've ever played. But I mean, like, it's. Do you know what I mean? When you grow up watching like fucking Rocky IV and shit like that, it's like you fucking like you have an idea of what Russia's like. Do you know what I mean?
Playing like If He Dies.
Yeah, he's not a man. He's a piece of iron. Like, and you get there, and then you're just like, oh right, it's just like everywhere else. except their alphabet's weird. Like that's about it. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's just fucking crazy, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I think it. Yeah, I have no idea because I think a lot of it's an interesting one because I think if you go to Russia, I think there's a lot of evidence that a lot of people support the war in Ukraine.
Yeah,
but a lot don't as well. I think it's quite from what I've heard, it's quite a divisive topic, which is weird because like I don't think many people here support that war. I think some do, maybe, but like, yeah, it's a weird one because that's the general gist of things that you get from the news, isn't it?
I mean, if you're supporting war, it's like it's going to be a dicey subject anyway. And do you know what I mean? Like, if you like look at fucking going back to like fucking the Vietnam War and shit, that like split America right down the middle, didn't it? Like, there was people that were for it and people that were against it. So I think you're always going to have that. Like, same as the Iraq War for the UK. Yeah.
Well,
like, I mean, people were against it, people were for it. Like, it's just, I guess it depends on which side of the fence you land.
Yeah, I'm not educated enough to know which side of the fence. I don't even know where the fence is.
Yeah, I'm a habitual fence sitter.
Yeah,
I like to sit right on the top of the fence.
I'll just wave at you from here.
I'm just like, yeah, wow, this is mad, isn't it? Like, that's about it.
Bombs like, either side of the fence.
Not, like, yeah, as long as you don't blow up the fence, I'm fine.
It's a good way of thinking. Yeah, as long as you let me be in the middle.
Yeah, I'm fine in the middle.
Yeah,
on the fence.
I thought the ironic thought that history is written by the victor kind of sounds like a loser thing to say.
Well, yeah, it is, isn't it? Because it's just basically going, oh well, you know, you can't trust history because because oh well, they won, so they get to write the history books. It's like, well, not. I understand the premise behind it. Like, it's just like,
I think it does make sense.
History,
I'm just taking the piss, yeah.
Yeah, but history is history, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, that is like, as far as we know, that's what happened. So, like, I mean, there's no point arguing with it. Who else was there?
Can you imagine your GCSE history book? Like, well, as far as we're aware.
Yeah, as far as we're aware.
All right, okay. I'm gonna steer this into sort of relevant, down the line stuff rather than discussing Putin's agenda, because, like I said, there's probably so many people listening going, he has no idea. I mean, about me.
I have no idea as well. Like, just like I'm firmly with you. Like, I'm not educated about it enough. Like, I think basically my bottom line is, I think war's shit. I hate it. I think it's fucking shite. It's a terrible fucking thing. I think we're at a point where we're evolved enough as a civilization that shit like this shouldn't be happening. Like, that's my.
I think I can agree on that. I think a lot of people would agree on that. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how to steer this into anything relevant.
Go for it. Segue, man.
Problem. I'm going to try and find a neat segue. Do you ever watch South Park?
Yeah, I love South Park.
You know there's the scientist who does that funny like, he'll say this random thing and then
the Jeff Goldblum scientist when they're taking the piss out of Independence Day.
I think that's
yeah. He just starts saying words and then just starts linking them to other words and then gets to a point.
Yeah. I feel like that guy at points. Yeah, I'm glad someone got that reference. Yeah, because it's funny. So I saw you guys with Fit for an Autopsy. What would that be, about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that?
Yeah, it'd been in May.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what I thought was, there's a couple of things I thought were really that I sort of remember distinctly from that gig. One was that every band had their own like brand of thing going on, their own kind of identity. I mean, you know, if you hated heavy metal and you turned up to that gig, you might just be a bit like, what's going on? You know, but I think if you were to just be open-minded and listen, you would hear that each band had their own kind of thing. And I thought for 5 different bands on a, like, in terms of like genre, fairly close fit. And obviously there's variation again to a non-metalhead. It's all just, you know, noisy.
Yeah.
But the other thing I noted was that like so 4 of the bands came from the US, right?
Yeah.
So there are 5 bands, and I can't remember how much it was that I paid for a ticket exactly. But I just remember thinking, I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking like the amount I've paid for this is criminal. I was thinking like I need to be paying at least another 10, 15 quid for this ticket.
Yeah.
And so my question was like, how do you, I guess how does any band of your kind of size survive like a touring cycle? Because that I just thought like I've got to be paying like at least like 30, 40 quid to see 5 bands, especially the 4 from the US. I'm like, they've got to fly over and get everything sorted over here.
Yeah.
Visas and all that. I mean, I guess of all of the bands, I don't want to say you guys have it the easiest, but obviously you didn't have to fly.
Yeah, with a European tour, it's easier for us.
Yeah. What's it like trying to sort of survive like financially as a band nowadays?
Well, at our level, is merch. Merch is what pays the bills, basically. Like your guarantees, like what you get, your fee that you get paid for playing the show, that'll just about cover your costs. So like your vehicle hire, your driver, your fuel, food, like whatever else like that's needed. When you're going into fucking Europe as well, you got to pay the fucking Channel Tunnel. You got to pay fucking, especially when you're going through France. Jesus Christ, you got to pay fucking tolls every fucking 10 minutes. It's insane. I think we spent somewhere between fucking 600 and 900 euros just on tolls.
Jeez.
Like, it's mental. Like, just in France, that as well. It's fucking fucked. So it's like your guarantees will kind of balance out and they'll like cover your costs. You got to pay carnet as well now because we're not in the EU anymore. So it's like a piece of paper that basically allows you to import. They say import, like it allows you to take merchandise with you over to the mainland from the UK, basically, and that's like 500 quid. Jeez. So so like that is like Brexit fucked like bands at like our level anyway, at least. Like it's just made it so fucking difficult and like costly. So yeah, your guarantees will kind of cover all your costs, and then basically where you're making money personally, like your actual take-home money, is merch. It's merch sales. So it's like you gotta fucking sell t-shirts, you gotta sell CDs, caps, hats, shorts, flags, posters, fucking whatever there is. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Like that is literally it. Like you've got to, because the problem is as well, if the ticket price is too high, then people aren't going to buy tickets. So it's like you've got to find that balance where it's like value for money for the tickets, and the promoter's got to cover the fees of all the bands and the cost of the venue and stuff within the ticket price, basically. Which is why, like, I mean, obviously, if you're going to see like fucking Slipknot at the fucking arena or whatever, it's going to be like fucking 60 fucking quid a ticket, isn't it?
Yeah, and then there's like sort of take the piss fee, slap round the face fee, just because we can fee,
and then you go in there and then it's like fucking 6 quid for a fucking bottle of Heineken, which will cost you about 2 quid in a shop. Do you know what I mean? And then the t-shirts are like well expensive as well, because in arenas and venues like that, they've got their own fucking staff that are selling all the merch. So then obviously they take a big ass cut out of that. So then the bands have to put the prices up on the merch to cover the cost of the cut that the venue are taking out of the merch as well. But like at our level, it's like we're playing like smaller venues, more independent venues and stuff like that. So it's like it's more of a balancing act. So it's like like I said before, the promoter wants to make sure all his costs are covered. Promoter wants to go on with a bit of money as well, because that's his job as well. But he needs to make sure all the bands get paid their guarantees as well. Because if he doesn't because if your contract's a guarantee and he doesn't make enough to cover it, he's going to have to pay that out of his own pocket, because it's a guarantee. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a contract, so he has to pay that money. But yeah, it's merch. You just have to sell merch. You have to sell merch. But then it's like when you go over to America, it's these things called merch cuts, which are at even the smallest venues.
Oh man.
Which is just a joke, right? It's an absolute fucking joke because there's nowhere else that does this unless it's like I said, like fucking big ass venues with their own staff and merch vendors and shit, which is, if you're selling our merch and you're counting it all and you're doing all that, that's fine. Like take a cut. That's fine. I'm not going to begrudge that. Do you know what I mean? You're doing work. Gives us a night off as well. But if it's a fucking dive bar venue in the arsehole of nowhere in America and you're not selling our merch for us, you want me to count all of our merch and then give you the numbers and then sell it all and then count it all again at the end of the night and then give you a percentage of our fucking money when you've put absolutely nothing into it. You can suck my dick. Like, you can suck my dick, like from the hilt to the fucking tip. You can suck my dick. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, they'll fucking come to me at the end of the show and I'll just be like, you can fuck off. Oh, but I don't care. I don't care.
Have you run into sort of arguments and stuff?
Yeah, like nearly every show.
Well, credit to you.
Get like a fucking $1 or maximum. If they go, oh, well, it's in the contract, I'll go, yeah, here's $10 then. Off you fuck.
I don't blame. It's this shitty thing. I mean, like,
it's awful because like the other thing as well is we're not fucking Metallica. Do you know what I mean? We're not making fucking like hundreds of thousands. Like, it's not like that. Do you know what I mean? We're playing like to fucking 200, 300 people a night. And this is our wage. This is our living wage that we're taking home. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like, we're not rolling in it.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? If we were doing it for the money, then fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? That would be a sad thing. Like, it's death metal. Like, we're doing it because we love it. Like, and we can't do anything else. We're not built to do anything else. But it's like some shows, it's like, if you were to give them the 20% that they want of your merch, you'd be giving them back more money than they would be paying you on a guarantee. So it's like, it's as if you're paying them for the privilege of filling up their venue for the night for them. And they're making an insane amount of money on the bar and stuff that we don't get any part of that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so if they're going to charge for merch, you should be like, oh, so all those drinks we sold, can we?
Yeah. So can I get 10% of the bar then?
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking extortion, basically.
I get the principle. It's, you know, ultimately you're selling stuff on their property. So I mean, technically, they can say that, but it's like, well, there's no balance in that. Like, yeah, you know, it's like technically, yeah, they can.
Yeah, but also their venue wouldn't be full, and they wouldn't be making loads of money on the bar if we weren't there. Yeah. So it's like, your venue wouldn't be open tonight if we weren't there, or it might be open and it'll be a fucking dive bar night or a fucking shitty club night, and you'd have about 30 people in there. But it's fucking sold out. It's fucking 350 people in here, and the bar's busy all night. And that's because of the band that's playing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And now you're going to come and take some of our fucking money. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm just going to
you can have 10, if it's in the contract, I will give you $10, and that $10 will have been resting in the crack of my arsehole for at least half an hour after the show as well. So it's fucking sweaty and it stinks and it's damp and it's moist. And you can have that.
Well, with the exchange rate, that's turning into more and more dollars. Like, things are going. I wouldn't guarantee it. That'll be like 800 quid in not long. If Liz Truss carries on. Yeah. I mean, so there's a couple of things that I did to kind of the general peruse, i.e. stalk of your sort of socials and all of that to kind of find some things to to discuss. And something I found really interesting was you talking about actually going and doing, as far as I'm aware, you went to do some sort of vocal coaching. Are you still kind of doing that still? And I think there are so many musicians at the top level who, you know, they kind of, I don't want to say stop learning, but kind of are happy where they are, I guess. And they use what they've got and they write good music and all that. But, you know, you hear some bands and they get to a certain point and you feel like you hear that album, the next album, you kind of think, like, it's good, but it's kind of
the same.
It's kind of the same. And it doesn't have to be a problem, right? But like, I think there's a lot to admire in someone that is constantly just being a student of their own like craft. What was it that kind of prompted you to go and pursue that? Because like as a sort of follow up, I mean, I'm always tempted to. So I teach guitar; it's my profession, and there's a few musicians that I'd like to get guitar lessons from. You know, I don't particularly need them for certain things, at least. But I just think there's a lot to be said for learning, like just to keep learning, you know, and seeing what you can learn from other people. Yeah. So, go on. Sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you. Like, I think, like you said, it's okay if you're happy with where you are and you want to be complacent with that and stay at that point. That's totally fine. But for me, and Ingested as well, it's like we don't ever want to just put out the same album. Like, that's fine for some bands that have got their like sound or whatever, and they're happy within that box, and they're going to put out album after album after album, and you're always going to know what you're going to get. You'll never be disappointed, but you'll never be surprised. Like, we don't want to be that. Do you know what I mean? It's like I always say, like, Ingested's like a shark. It always has to keep moving. It can't stop. It can't go backwards. It can't, do you know what I mean? It's always got to just keep moving, because if not, like, we would get bored. Like, first and foremost, like one, I don't want our fans to ever get bored, but two, like, more importantly, I don't want us to ever get bored, because when we get bored, it's over, innit? Like, if we're just doing it just for the sake of doing it and you're just pumping it out, oh, well, yeah, we've got to do this. We've got to put this album out. We've got to do that. That's shit. I don't want to do that. I do this because I love it. So, like, constantly trying to improve and learn new things, like vocally, for me, is really important. Because I don't, this is where I get all self-deprecating now. Like, I don't particularly think I'm like a fucking sick vocalist or anything like that. Like, I do all right. I'm fine. Like, I've got my sound, I've got my style. So because I have that in the back of my head, I always want to get better. I know that I can get better. I can hone this. I can make this sound better. I can learn new styles. I can incorporate new sounds and shit like that. But the catalyst for why I got in contact with David from Extreme Vocal Institute was during the pandemic. Obviously, we'd stopped touring, so we'd stopped playing shows and stuff like that, which for us was like really weird, because we're always on the road, we're always playing shows. So there's never like, I never have time to sit back and like think or anything about it. It's just, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Like, we're always doing stuff. Whereas when the pandemic happened, I was like sat at home a lot, and like I started overthinking like my vocals and my vocal style and the way that I did things, and other vocalists that were coming out at the time and what they sounded like. And I was worrying about all these things, and I kind of started having like a bit of like a fucking crisis, basically. And like, my confidence was shot to shit. And I thought I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, I don't know what's going on. I just can't. Do you know what I mean? I just can't get up there. I can't. Like, my whole confidence had been like shattered. And I was just scrolling through social media on Instagram one day, and David from Extreme Vocal Institute's videos were coming up in my feed, and he was just like, I don't know, something just like clicked with the way that he was explaining things and the way that he was describing things, and like in his videos about vocals and stuff. And I was just like, do you know what? I was like, I'm going to fucking contact him. So I got in contact, and we started doing sessions together, like Zoom sessions like this. And because he's based in America, and he gave me access. He gave me an account and access to their EVI Now program, which is amazing. If anybody's watching or listening, it's an entire vocal, course. And there's like fucking like 80, 90, maybe 100 videos on there. And they're all like segmented into subjects, and they're all like in an order that you should probably work through. And there's stuff from like absolute beginner to like absolute pro, like, and everything in between. It's really amazing. And so I had that. So I started working through that. And then we started doing sessions together. Now, the sessions that we did together, it wasn't like standing there doing vocals or anything like that. There was never any of that. It was all like psychologically building myself back up, finding the root of the problems and the causes of why my mindset had changed and what was holding me back. Because it wasn't anything physical. It was all up here. So David would like talk me through stuff and like give me like exercises to do. And basically like brick by brick, he built me back up. And now I'm more confident and I'm better vocally than I've ever been. Like, I'm able to do loads of different shit now that I couldn't do before. And that's just from David just unlocking my brain, basically, and just figuring out why I was thinking the way that I was thinking. Like, he had me doing stuff like, it was like, my favorite thing that he had me doing was, he was like, stop overthinking your vocals. He was like, stop like thinking that you have to gear yourself up to do it. He was like, you should just be able to do it as simply as talking. Right. So he was like, so when you're having a conversation, like with your wife or your kids or your friends, family, he was just like, halfway through the sentence, when you're talking, just switch to your vocals and just finish the sentence in your death metal vocals. So I started doing that, like, because then it just becomes like natural. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, you're not really thinking about like, you're having to go like beforehand or anything, like, do you know what I mean? So then it's like, you're just talking in that voice. So I started doing that. And obviously my wife thought I was fucking losing my mind. But then it's like, I'm doing it in the shop. I'm doing it like...
Did you actually do it in the shop?
Yeah. In like Aldi and shit like that. Walking around in Aldi. Just like, do we need beans? What are we having for breakfast?
Have you? There's a guy. I've forgotten his name now. He's a beatboxer, and he just, someone hands him a tin of beans, and he just goes, "Oh, beans," but like he says beans in this proper like beat. It just cracks me up. I get
amazing.
Total. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Did you not get any funny kind of?
Yeah.
Police turning up? No.
But I had like loads of weird looks and stuff. Yeah, but it's like, he was like, you will get that though. He was like, but this is the part where it comes in mentally, to not care, to not worry about what other people are thinking. Like, because there was a lot of that. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like worried about, can I stand up? Can I stack up against all these other vocalists that are coming out now that sound fucking amazing and shit? Like, there was a lot of that. Like, it was because, it's like, I was just like, shit, like, am I fucking obsolete? Like, do you know what I mean? But then it's like, you have to realize that it's not a competition. Just, he was like, be you. He was like, no one can sound like you. Do you know what I mean? He was like, because your voice is unique. Everybody's voice is unique. So just be you. And then like, once I started thinking in that manner and just started being so relaxed about it and not giving a shit as much, not in a bad way. I mean, obviously I give a shit. I want it to sound amazing, but like not giving a shit about other vocalists and like that kind of shit. He was just like, you'll feel so much more relaxed and it'll come much more naturally, and you won't be overthinking everything you're doing. And he was right. He was totally right. Like, so, and now I'm just super comfortable with it. Now I'll just do it wherever and be happy about it. Like, and I'm happy with how my vocals sound now, whereas I wasn't before. But yeah, it's like, I've never thought I was like a sick vocalist or anything. My bread and butter has always been being a good frontman. So like when you see us live, it's like, if you want to compare us to like all these other bands where it's like, oh my God, the vocals are sick and all that shit. And it's like, yeah, but it's fucking boring to watch because they don't do shit. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I like to think I'm a fucking sick frontman, and that's exciting. Like, because otherwise it's like, yeah, you're all good on CD, but it's piss boring to watch live because you can't move anywhere because you ain't doing shit. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, that's where my bread and butter is. It's like, I'm a passable vocalist, but I'm a good frontman.
It's I found it interesting that you were saying about that it almost sounds like his mentoring more than his actual tuition is what got you to where you are now.
Yeah.
Through that whole process, which is quite interesting, and because I've been sort of working on my vocals a little bit because I just realised it's such a useful thing. Yes, like I'm a guitarist, and I was in a band a while back, and now I'm not. And I kind of think like, do I just go and try? Because I've tried singing on and off. Like in terms of what I like to write sort of clean vocal stuff.
Yeah,
still like heavy music, but I lean more into the clean vocal side for my own writing. Although I listen to a lot of harsh vocal kind of stuff. And yeah, it's weird. Like I went this morning. I go like 8 o'clock in the morning. I go to the little studio because I still get it for free with my university, which I'm not aware of. But so hopefully they're not listening.
just bleep that.
Yeah, I just go down to and yeah. But then the cleaners are always, there's no one there, but the cleaners are there. So I'm always in my head, I'm like, what the fuck do the cleaners think is going on? Because like, you have to make some weird noises, right? Like regardless whether you're singing, like screaming, whatever, there's weird noises coming out. And I'm trying to get a bit of grit into my voice, so that obviously requires some strength.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's getting out of your own head. It's like, I'm trying to, especially like as a guitarist, there's something so much less embarrassing about being a shit guitarist than being a shit vocalist, you know?
I think that's because, I don't mean this in a negative way, like being a vocalist is much more you're much more exposed.
Yeah.
Because you are your instrument.
Yeah. And
like with a guitar or a bass or a drum kit, there's something to hide behind. I mean this mentally, like as a mental thing. Like there's something to hide behind. There's another, do you know what I mean? There's like an exterior thing. Whereas with a vocalist, you are so exposed because you're right at the front of the stage. Like, let's say 80-90% of the focus is on you. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm a
guitar nerd. I'm staring at the guitar.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, generally, like the focus is on you because you are the front man. You're the man at the front. And there's nowhere to hide when you're a front man. So it's like, I think that's what it is. Like, I think it's like you said, like you're not as conscious about playing guitar as you would be about doing vocals. And I think that's like quite telling about that because you are way more exposed because it's your voice. It's you. It's personal. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know it's your hands playing the guitar, but it's the guitar making the noise. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you're singing, It's literally you making the noise. The noise is coming from within you. So it's like that's what I think anyway. Because I always sometimes I always think, oh, I wish I could play guitar. Do you know what I mean? I do though. I wish I could play guitar.
I'll swap you a lesson as if your guitarist can do
yeah,
it.
Man. Yeah, man. Nah, Sean would never teach me guitar. He's like, I'm like, oh, can you teach me guitar? I'm sure I've definitely asked him over the years. He's like, nah, man, I'm not teaching you. He just thinks it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I guess
like you wouldn't be able to do it.
I guess teaching people as well is a bit weird because there's that there's that middle ground where I suppose if with all my students, there's we're not like, I'm sort of friendly with them, but we're not say we're friends as such. Some of them I maybe would, but so like if I tell them that they've done something wrong or I correct them, there's no pushback. Whereas if I tell my mates, they'd be like, "Oh, go fuck yourself! Like, I'm doing fine."
Yeah. Because there's a separation, isn't there? Like when you're between teacher and student, there's like a what would you call it? It's like there's like a non-verbal contract in there of respect. Like I'm teaching you this, and you're here to learn. So they'll listen. But it's like you said, if it's your friend or something, they'll just fuck off.
It's just hard not to feel condescending, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
What's so out of interest for anyone? It's partly me asking this, partly for anyone that it might be in the same position. It's anyone that wants to go from so I can kind of sing okay, but I'm not amazing. But if I want to start moving towards getting some harsher stuff into my voice, what would you say is the first step? So say you take your average person who maybe can kind of sing, but or knows a bit about sort of making some sort of noise. What's the first step to just going into the harsher side of things?
Well, these two. There's two things that are critical that I believe, physically anyway, is make sure you're breathing right first and foremost. Like you never ever want to be singing, especially harsher vocals. You don't want to be singing with your chest and your throat. So you want all your power to come
from the Hellfire Club.
From the Hellfire Club. You want it to come from here.
Yeah.
From your diaphragm, which you can feel if you go if you put your fingers into the side of your body and you go, you can feel that that tensing that you can feel, that's your diaphragm. So that's what you want to activate because you want all your power coming from that. So this is where you want to send it from. The other thing with breathing is to fill your lungs from the bottom up. I know that sounds weird because it's not like you're filling it with water, but you have to imagine it's like you're filling it with water. So rather than breathing with your chest and going, do you know what I mean? Because when you do that, you're only filling your lungs in the top half. So what you have to do is you have to breathe with your stomach. So, and then it fills your entire lungs. So then you've got more air, and then you use your diaphragm to manage that air coming out. Then the other thing is activating your false chords, which is pretty easy, really. So the false chords are what creates the distortion. So what's the best way of doing it? If something really, really pisses you off or annoys you, you're like, ah! Do you know what I mean? You know when you get annoyed and you're like, fuck, like that. That's your false chords activating. That's not your actual vocal cords, because you should feel it a bit further up the top. So that's it. So once you get that, and then you can start putting your voice into it. So then it's becomes, oh, do you know what I mean? So you're putting an actual voice into it, and then that's it, really. And then just practice that. Everybody's voice is going to be different, so you just have to find what's comfortable. Because obviously, if it's hurting, then fucking stop that shit straight away. And then just practice it. Just practice for like an hour a day. You don't need to practice for any more than an hour, because when are you going to be singing death metal vocals for more than an hour? Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to listen to death metal for more than an hour. I'm in a death metal band, and I don't want to listen to death metal for more than an hour, because it's like...
Depends how long you're in Aldi for.
Hey?
Depends how long you're in Aldi for.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's about it, really. It's easy. It's easy. It really is easy. It's easy to learn, but it takes... I wouldn't say it's hard to master. It just takes time. It's just time and dedication, like anything, like guitar, like drums. Like, you just have to put time into it, and just repetition. So find your diaphragm, breathe with your stomach, activate your false chords, and then put your voice into it.
Yeah. That's wicked. Yeah, I think there's so many. It's so hard, because if I teach someone guitar, I can just point at the fretboard and be like, "Oh, you should be doing this," you know. Whereas, like what you were just doing there, you can't just like point somewhere in my neck or my body and go that you know, you can't really. It's not the same. So I think that's possibly where the challenge comes in. And I've spoken to a couple of vocal tutors in the past where I felt like they've taught me more about like scales and things. Like, I know them already. I need to know like how. What should it feel like? That's the hardest thing, because how do you describe it? Because if I describe how it feels to me, it might not feel like that to you, or you might take the meaning of what I say it feels like in a different way, because you might personally describe that same feeling in a different manner. Do you know what I mean? So, because it's all on the inside, it's hard to... Yeah. Speaking of, like, this is going to be a neat segue.
Go on. I'm excited now.
Not so neat one. Speaking of putting time into things, and you talk about kind of... It's something that I have been trying to do more of, is like leveraging my time as best as possible, because, for example, my example being, actually, I was going to turn to what I've seen... on your sort of Instagram and stuff about Twitch and live streaming. And I've seen that's obviously become very popular. I've done a bit of it myself. I've not fully lent into it, but I really like the idea of being able to kind of, I hate the word monetize, but it is kind of a good word, or at least leverage your time when you would be doing stuff, even if it's as simple as like gaming, or, you know, or it could be something more like, you know, professional music or whatever. And I'm still trying to figure out how I can make that work for me. Because sometimes I find if I try and write music on Twitch, I just find I get a bit distracted and a bit self-conscious, because I'm like, people are watching me write. They're watching me turn out loads of
it's very personal, that, isn't
it? That's what writing it is. So when you kind of... How much involvement do you have? Because I have had a look through your Twitch and kind of a bit of it. But what was it that prompted you to get going with that, and how's it been?
Well, what prompted me was we were in the pandemic. We were in lockdown. And I was playing loads of games with my best mate, Steve. And I was just like, should we just fucking Twitch? Should we just go on Twitch? Because, I mean, we might be able to make a little bit of money. Like, I'm not stupid. I weren't like expecting to make a fucking career out of it or anything. But, you know, we can make a fucking few quid, help pay the bills, get to hang out with our fans and shit like that, and chat with people and play games and have a laugh, because it's what we would be doing anyway. So we were like, we may as well just fucking make a thing out of it. So we started doing that, and we ended up with a nice little community on there. Like, it was funny. And then my computer broke. So then I didn't Twitch stream for like, I think it's nearly a year now. And then just recently, the other week, I saved up all my pennies and bought a new PC, which is what I'm having this conversation with you on. So hopefully when I get back from this American tour at the end of November, I'm going to start Twitch streaming again, because I do miss it. It's great. It just gives it. it gives you another connection with with the band's fans, with fans of the Twitch channel, I guess. And it's just nice. I miss it a lot, actually, because we used to have a lot of fun on there. Like all that, there's a lot of like edited videos of like our old streams on my YouTube channel and stuff. And like every now and again, like I'll just go back and watch one of them and I'll be fucking pissing myself, like, because fucking my mate Steve's just he's a one-off.
That's such a, like, that could be the biggest insult or the biggest compliment. Yeah,
it's a compliment. He's a one-off. He's like, there's not many people like him. Like, I like it when you call someone a weapon. Yeah, he's a bit of a weapon as well, to be honest. Like,
but like, I still don't fully know what that means. I know I don't want to be called.
Like, you're just a blunt instrument. Like, I don't know what it means. You got someone a fucking weapon. I'm just like, oh, you're just fucking like a fucking club, like a caveman's club. Do you know what I mean? Because like Captain Caveman, innit?
If you call someone a tool, you know what, everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, that's the same. It's the same thing, I think. It's literally the same thing. If you call someone a tool or a weapon, it's like, it's literally the same meaning.
There's just something funny about weapon. I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all in the delivery, though, isn't it? Like,
you know what I started turning to is if you can call someone an imbecile. I quite like the idea of just calling someone imbecile. Just saying, oh, he's imbecile. You're like, well,
he's imbecile.
Yeah,
like it's some condition that he's got.
I thought it was a funny, a funny insult. I feel like there's not enough creative insults out there anymore. So
yeah. But remember what it was like when you were in school? You were making up new fucking insults every fucking week.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I can remember any now.
I know.
I remember the best.
Now.
This will make you laugh, though. Actually, I think I was a clever kid, right? There was a. This is such a fucking stupid story. There's a kid. We used to build these little twig like fort, like castles, because we were kids and that's what you do at like break time. And there was this dickhead kid in the year above who just come and boot them over. And I don't know. Obviously, we didn't learn. We just kept building them, But we built them, and he just come and kick them over, and like, oh, brilliant. I was about to say, oh, fuck's sake, but I don't think I said that when I was like, maybe I did, I don't know. But there was this one day where there was a massive pile of fox shit in the field, so we're like, oh, we're gonna build one over that. So he built one, and he booted it, and it just went flying. It was just. So I know it's not an insult, but it's one of the more creative.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, can you imagine getting back at someone with that, like, now?
With shit. Just going shit feet for the rest of school.
You have an argument with someone, and then you just, like, that's how you get back at them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Why can't we
Kids are creative, though, man. Kids are creative with their revenge.
Get Putin with that.
Yeah. Just trick him into kicking a giant pile of fox shit.
Turns up to that. You look a right knob.
Everyone's laughing at you now. If Biden's laughing at Putin's shoes covered in shit, then that's it. War over. We
did it. It only took us 56 minutes, and we fixed it.
We've solved it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
We had a teacher in school. I just thought on that. We had a teacher in school called Mr. Costello, and we used to call him. We used to call him Mr. Coffee Piss Shit. Because he stunk of piss and shit. We just decided that I don't know, I can't even remember whether he did, but we just decided that he did. And he was always drinking coffee. So we used to call him Mr. Coffee Piss Shit. And then if we had another teacher called Mrs. Micklethwaite. And she had a big wart on her face, so we used to call her Mrs. Pickle Face. Oh, how bad's that? So yeah,
this is just devolved. Sorry, I'm like borderline. It's just such a dumb insult, but it's so
it's
funny.
amazing, Mr. Coffee Piss shit. But we used to always try and say it fast enough so that you never noticed. That's what we were saying.
Oh, I remember one. I've got one more actually. This was in. This was so funny. This was in like year 8. There was a teacher, and he was like, he seemed pretty cool. This is like not cool, but like chill, you know. And this is why this whole moment just seemed so bizarre. Like he taught us chemistry, and he seemed like I liked him. He was, he was a good teacher. And then like one day he described something. This is so not as funny when, like, when you say it, it's like, no, you don't have to be there. But he described something as banal. Like,
right.
Obviously, like in year 8, when you hear a funny word,
yeah,
the whole class just went banal. He was just like, oh, I'm trying not to laugh my way through this. It's really not that funny. But he absolutely flipped his shit. He was so annoyed because he said no. Oh yeah, because he said it. Something was banal, as like he was telling someone off. And one of the students, like,
and then it just got flipped and turned on him.
Banal. Everyone was just in tears. He was obviously so embarrassed. But yeah, that was so fun. That absolutely killed it. Yeah. Actually, I've got one more, and this is so this is so like not safe for work. Is the funniest thing I think has ever happened to me. I swear this is completely devolved now, but I think I don't even think I can sort of get through this. So we were in geography, and this I haven't taught. Right.
Breathe.
The diaphragm. There we go. Yeah, we were talking about how rivers. We were learning about rivers and stuff, and how like meander and all these terms and whatever. And we had got an old teacher who was a bit out of touch, and this was in like year 8, so I don't know where this came from, but we were asked the question, "What is it called when 2 rivers meet?" The guy said, the guy said, oh. This is so underwhelming. The guy went, he said, double penetration. Oh. Oh.
Fucking hell.
I'm actually trying to keep it together now. Oh. Oh, I bet you didn't sign up for this, yeah.
No, it's good, man.
Oh, okay. Siri. Yeah. You know when you just get into a laughy mood and you just can't stop, like...
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. And because we were all like, I think we were about 13 or so, like half the class burst into tears laughing, and the other half were like, what?
I don't. Yeah, and then you got the ones who were laughing just because everybody else is laughing, but they don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think I got it, but like half the time. And the teacher had no idea. He didn't even get in trouble.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, I think that's a good. I don't think I can seriously turn back to any proper sort of conversation after that. I've never laughed that much on a podcast, so that's a first.
It's always good when you remember shit from school, man.
Oh yeah, no,
kids are just something else, man. Like some of the shit that you do and fucking like come out with when you're a kid is just fucking next level. Like
I don't
fucking amazing
with some of it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna rather than steal too much as I'm in sort of I was going to say borderline tears, basically in tears, laughing through that whole thing. I have to get you to. I've never gone from this nice serious conversation about all sorts of important topics to just complete trash
from me straight down into the gutter with all the coffee, the piss, and the shit.
I'm blaming you for this, man. I didn't bring that up.
I don't even know why I thought about it. I was just like, oh, Mr. Coffee Fish shit. Remember it?
There's no way anyone's still listening at this point.
It's fine.
Right, okay. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to get you to ask a question for the next guest. It's got to be, well, it can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be serious. I know your one was kind of a bit more professional, and it can be the most. I've had people ask about toes and, all sorts of ridiculous. I've had to ask people I've never met if they've ever shat themselves on stage. So
it happens to the best of us, believe it.
Have you? I mean, while we're at it, I guess not.
Oh no, I've not shat myself on stage. I've puked on stage, but I've shat myself everywhere else. So that's like the last bastion that I've not shat myself in stage. But I've been sick because we played a show in Milan once, and Lynn, our drummer, farted like in the middle of a song, right? And I'm stood in front of him, and the stage isn't that big, so I'm quite close, and like. To do a big breath because he's like a big scream, and obviously just got a gob full of his fucking arsehole, and then it was like the worst, like I could taste it and everything. It was fucking horrendous. So immediately I was like, I am going to be sick. So they like carried on playing, and I just walked straight behind his drum kit and just started puking all over the floor. Oh yeah. So that's the thing.
Okay, right. I wish I'd. I'm going to stop asking you questions.
I overshare. I'm sorry.
That is great. So okay, right. I need you to ask a question for the next guest. Something. It can be whatever you like. It could be deep and meaningful,
Okay.
I need a drink of water after that.
I think you should. I'm going to give you a segue from this interview to the next one. What's your funniest memory from school?
That's a really good one, actually.
There you go. So then it's. Do you know what I mean? There's a narrative flowing from one podcast to the next.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't long ago. It was only. Who was it? It was Dave from Revocation, and
I love Dave.
Yeah, he was awesome. And then it was someone. Who was it before? I feel really bad not remembering who it was before him. But there were two toe-related questions, and he asked a toe-related one as well. Like, and I'm like, can we not carry this on? So I'm just glad you didn't go too far in that. Yeah. No, that's a really good one actually. And then I need you to plug an artist that you think deserves a bit of love.
Artist that I think deserves a bit of love. Great American Ghost.
Wicked, yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. You came to the Fit for an Autopsy show, so you'd have seen them live. They are absolutely crushing. They are so good. They're amazing on CD, right? Their albums are great. But when you see them live, it is something else entirely. They are fucking phenomenal. And I don't think they get anywhere near enough attention as they should be getting. So yeah, check them out. Good friends of Ingested. Absolutely insane live band, great band, Great American Ghost. Get them on Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. And if they're playing in a town near you, grab a ticket and make sure you don't miss the show, because it's fucking worth it, believe me.
Solid agree on that one. They were wicked. I remember, I think in terms of how much I enjoyed a gig, and like if I were to balance like value for money and how much I enjoyed a gig, I think the gig you guys did is like probably the top.
Yeah, man.
In terms of like sheer, like just 5 killer bands. When I went along, I knew a little bit about you guys. Fit for an Autopsy I knew quite a lot about. I didn't know anything really about the other three. And I turned up thinking like, I'll kind of watch, I'll be in and out, and I'll watch, and then I'll go Fit for an Autopsy kind of thing. And then all of you guys came on, and I was just like, and it was one of those ones where I saw the first couple of bands. Sometimes you see the first 2 bands, you get a bit knackered, you're like, okay, I need a break. Yeah. And then the poor third or fourth band miss out. I feel like everyone was like, they'd watch the band, they go for their break between, and then they'd all come back in. Like, it just felt like such a wicked lineup, and it never felt like it got tiring, even though like you're joking about no one listens to more than an hour of like,
yeah,
but because it was also different, it was really cool. So definitely agree. Have you got anything you want to promote? Oh, well, I know you have something to promote, but anything you want to plug before we finish up?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to say thank you to all our fans around the world. Like, you fucking show us love and support for 16 years, and we can't express how much we appreciate you all. So big thanks for that, and massive respect. We've just released a brand new single called From Hollow Words, which features Sven from Aborted. So if you haven't seen the video or listened to the single, listen to it on Spotify, watch the video on YouTube. And we have got the album Ashes Lie Still coming out on the 4th of November. It's exciting. And we're just about to hit the States with Lorna Shore, Aborted, Angel Maker, and of Sulphur. Nearly every single show's sold out. I think there's like 5 or 6 shows left that have got low ticket warnings. So that's going to be absolutely insane. So if you're in the States or Canada, make sure you get to one of these shows if you can. And for everybody in the UK and Europe, we will see you in March and April, because we are touring with Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral. So that's going to be an extensive European tour early next year. That's going to be amazing. And we've announced 2 Christmas shows, 2 Christmas fucking spectaculars. One in London, one in Manchester, 22nd, 23rd of December. Tickets are on sale now. So go get them tickets and come and celebrate Christmas with us. It'll be the last show of the year, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. So we're gonna have all kinds of Christmas themed shit. Might even get some presents out there for people and shit. So who knows? Come see.
You know how how self-absorbed I am, that when I said, do you want to plug anything, you went thank you, and I thought you were talking to me.
Well, if you're offering.
Thank you to the fans. Like,
oh shit.
Oh, still there?
Sorry, say that again. I pulled my fucking earphone out.
Anything worth listening to, it's fine. No, that was awesome, man. Well, thank you. That was that cracked me up. So lots of highs and I don't want to say lows, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, man.
Bit of a journey there for people to follow. So
yeah. Well, thank you for having me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've not laughed like that for a long time, man. That was funny. Laugh, yeah. Wicked. We'll have to do it again, mate. We should do it again in the future, bro.
For sure.
This was fun. So thank you for having me. Appreciate you.